Welcome to another episode of Heart and Soul with my wonderful co-host Janet. And today we share about preparing for the golden future. Our last couple of episodes have been about the fifth dimensional living the golden future, what it means, how to hold the vision. If you missed them, just go back and watch or listen to it. And now it's about preparing for the golden future. I mean, yeah, it's coming back to the flow, letting go. I think we are all so good in holding it all together and just allowing feelings to fall away. That's how we can prepare for the golden future. And of course, holding that vision and yeah, allowing it to happen. And most of all, don't be afraid, because it's the golden future. And so today we share insights, our point of view, what we've learned, and welcome. Thank you so much, Janet, for always being here with me.
Oh, thanks, Caroline. And yes, I think these set of episodes are particularly important for us right now because I know after COVID, it happened that there'll be a mass awakening that people are starting to look at things and say, that doesn't feel right anymore, or I don't believe what I'm being told. I think there's more to it. And I think that's important that now we're coming through this period of transition as the shifts are starting to happen where I know it's like seems like blows some people might blow my mind is the fact that the world is going to start to shift into different sort of dimensional energy planes, of which one of them is the golden future, the fifth dimension, which yay, where I'm signing up for that one. But we're still in this sort of like the caterpillar changing into the butterfly, that icky stage. But we each have to take responsibility and make a choice of where we want to go, what we want to happen for us. And I think there's so many people pulled into all of the drama of the third world dimension as we are right now. And I know I keep getting sort of like a bit sucked into it. And I have to then remind myself is no, I have to let all of that go. That's going to go on regardless, but don't get sucked into it. Turn my back on that, step away, and focus on what's coming with the fifth dimension, the golden future. And for me, that is then focusing on doing things like letting go of that anger, that frustration, that annoyance of how the world is, because I'm somebody that I want to fix everything, uh, and I have to be aware that I can't. But my job here as a light worker, which we've talked about before as well, is to work on myself to raise my own vibrational energy to shine into the world and to support other people on that journey as well. And that's what the key thing is. And being prepared for this new future is about being aware and starting to do it's work on ourselves and supporting other people on that same journey. And it is about what's happening over there. I'm not happy about it or whatever, but I can't get drawn into it because I need to keep my energy focused here so that this light can come in. So we're like a vessel channeling the good light into the world. I don't know how you feel about that, Caroline, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, definitely. It's all that inner work. It's always the inner work, isn't it? We we so often want to change everybody else, but we can only change ourselves and change how we react to things going on, always coming back to that inner peace, that inner calm, to that love, that self love, that light, and just letting everything sort of fall away, or just focusing on ourselves, clearing the energy, when we feel a bit drained, taking time to recharge, when we feel like whatever is coming up, look at it in the inner work. What's going on? Where is that coming from? Are there old issues I can let go? What part in me can I do with a little bit of healing and letting go? And yeah, it's that time to sort of take a really great energetic shower and prepare our body, mind, heart, and soul for that future, and prepare it every day, because it's like, yeah, it's like a car wash, we collect little gray energy during the day. We are only human, it's not like, yeah, that we are already there, but the preparation is to clearing away what's not in alignment. And it starts also with judgment. Often we judge others, but actually, very often we judge ourselves. Like I wasn't feeling well last week, so that's why we didn't have an episode. But of course, things came up of, "Oh, I'm not good enough, I should do more, I should do this show." But actually, I couldn't. I just had no energy and I felt so weak. And I knew I needed that rest. But deep down was that inner child who felt she had to prove herself. So, looking after myself, nurturing my inner child, clearing away whatever was going on was what I needed to do. And yeah, self-judgment and compassion for self, for allowing yourself to take a rest. We are so in that doing mode, and having that compassion with yourself and others, and showing that, living that, I think is so important. And truly living as we are one, and feeling that, you, Janet, and I, we have that connection, but we can have it with everyone, and so if we judge someone else, we're actually judging ourselves, and so on. And just kindness, showing kindness again to yourself, filling up your jar, and then sharing that kindness with the world, because we never know what's going on in someone else's life, what what's troubling them. And this is, like you said, coming back to our own inner light and sharing that with the world, and being true to ourselves, and apologize, nurturing ourselves on a deep level. And of course, looking after ourselves by clearing the energy, by eating healthy food and doing good, loving things, living from a heart full of joy and allowing fun. So often we go through life stoic and have to do this, and this. And that's not life. Life is taking the time, being, and it comes back to being in the moment. And I think sometimes when I don't know about you, Janet, but for me, sometimes I'm a bit impatient for the
Oh,
golden future to be here, but actually we are living here right now. Of course, taking that energy and bringing it onto the world, but not forgetting that we are here right now. We are not in the past, we are not in the future, but we can do our work right here, right now, by looking after ourselves, by raising our vibration, and by, yeah, having that compassion, that connectedness, that kindness with all living being, it's with the animals, with the trees, being grateful. And of course, also, I think a part is about self-forgiveness. Because, yeah, we can't always shine, and then forgiving ourselves for a low day, or a day when we judged ourselves again, or when we weren't too kind or impatient or whatever. And I think that compassion, that self-forgiveness, that self-love is so essential. That's, yeah, what's truly coming, and truly, yeah, living from an open heart, clearing, releasing that, and living, I mean, not narrow, but sort of in a wide, in a loving, gorgeous way. How do you feel about that,
I
Janet?
love that because when you were talking that, I was saying, and live in love. Love is the massively key to this. It's a crucial part of the whole being prepared, and that starts with self-love, the opening up of the heart, the kindness, the compassion, forgiveness, all of these healing that we need to do. And then I sort of like see that sort of like that connection then with the soul being almost like sort of where the light comes through. Once that's all open, this light just channels right through, this divine light energy that helps us to really step into our power and shine and shine. And it's funny, I've told you before that I have this image in my head, and it's just come back to me there now again. And it's me like a warrior standing with the sword, and my head's bowed and I'm kneeling with this sword. And it was almost like, is it I'm about to step into battle, or what is it? Because I don't want, a part of me, I think, is a Leo. I have that battle spirit sometimes. But realizing, actually, just as we're talking there, is that that's not what the battle is. The battle is bowing my head and allowing the light to come through. It's not raising the sword. It is about me being what I need to do. And that's what I need to do in the world right now. And it's really just come clear that and the lights coming out, and it's totally not about going to war. It is about being the light worker, being the channel, and helping to reignite that. We've done a workshop on this, and I must share the link for that. Is about reconnecting, rekindling people with that connection, that heart and soul connection, so that that light comes through. Because, yeah, in Diana Cooper's book, she talks about, she's being advised by her guides as well, because this is a very challenging period for us, a very confusing period, and there's a lot of stuff, conspiracy theories and stuff, and sometimes like I do fall into oh yeah, well, that makes sense. And it says to let that all go. It doesn't matter if they're truth or not, it doesn't matter. That's not what we have to focus on, because again, you're only getting drawn into, and it's almost like there's a power that wants us sucked into that lower energy field. And we have to really sort of recognize that and really step back and, just as you say, focus on what we're here to do, and focus on us being that channel for the light, and as healers and coaches, to support other people with that as well. And the more of us that are connected, I mean, it's going to really make a difference in the world.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely. Yeah. And I think it's important that letting go, because yeah, it's not always easy, raising our vibration, and when things fall away, when relationships end, when a job ends, when, I don't know, if you move or whatever is going on in your life. And we are still here, and we all need to earn money. We need to live, we need to pay our bills, we need to buy grocery, need to have food and support ourselves. And it can sometimes be daunting when things fall away, because if that thing is safety, and then something changes, and then we feel insecure, and we have to move on. And there we come back to trust that it wasn't meant to be, that something better is ahead, but keeping that trust, that things will work out for the best. And life is always happening for us, never to us. And I think that's the true channel for challenging times for the next couple of years, that we allow things to fall away on a natural kind of way,
Yes.
like the leaves fall off the tree in autumn. And also maybe remembering that analogy, because if the leaves would stay on the tree, it would actually, the tree would die, because it loses its leaves, so it won't leak out um, liquid or then freeze and all these kind of
Mhm.
things. And this is important. Sometimes things fall away so we can live and we can support each other. And it's also about, stepping into our own power. Sometimes we are dependent on others. We, yeah, I mean, I still, sometimes hope, the knight in shining armor comes to rescue me. It's that kind of, yeah, it would be so nice if, we could just be picked up and plugged into the golden future, and that's it. And but it's life, and we learn so much going through it and keeping that trust. It's like, yeah, like with Janet, help to connect to your soul so you can really live your purpose and feel connected, and come back to your heart and your own inner trust, and know that you are worthy and you are good enough and you got it all. I think sometimes we shy away from our own power because we had bad influences, or we see it with companies or rulers, presidents around the world, and we don't want that. But power is just like being, and that's a new feminine, gentle, wonderful power, standing up for yourself and doing your thing. And yeah, and I think don't be influenced by naysayers or people who want to talk down on you. Just keep walking your walk and your path, and come back to your heart and soul and trust. Yeah, I think it's so important. It's just that, yeah, like I think last time we said, it's sort of maybe a little walk through a tunnel, and we might get a bit distracted every now and then, but always coming back to our path, our light, our heart and soul, and the trust that there is that golden future waiting for us, that there's that light at the end of the tunnel, and we can shine the light. And So often we want to have a clear path, where to go, but it's sort of like walking through fog. You only see the next step and then it's still foggy, but you can always take that one step. And when you have that one step, you see the next step. So trust, take that one step into the direction that really, yeah, opens your heart and feels connected to your soul, and keep going, keep shining, and remembering sometimes it takes a detour to arrive at the right destination. So,
Exactly. And as you say, I mean, don't beat yourself up if you know, no one can stay truly on that. And as you say, we're here to have a human experience, and that involves a whole set of things that we're learning, that we chose to come here to learn. And so don't beat yourself up if you sort of like have a wobble. But what's important is like, picking yourself up and recognizing it, understanding it, learning from it, and then coming back to yourself and coming back. And I think that's what you've said time and time again throughout different episodes about how important it is, when that happens as part of your healing, whatever, where you are on your journey, is that, if something happens and you don't behave the fifth dimensional way or the perfect golden future way, don't beat yourself up. We're human beings having a human experience, but recognize it for what it is and come back to yourself. And I think that, and you talked about the feminine energy, and I think that's a very nurturing feminine energy of being able to do that, to be able to recognize and to step back to care for yourself. And we've got to remember as well that when you're doing that, taking care of yourself, you're doing it for the people you love around you. So there's a lot, even in all of our previous episodes, there's so much that actually sort of feeds into what's going on right now. So please tune in and check out some of the previous episodes, because there's a lot of good stuff in there. But yes, I think this is a very important learning for us all on this human spiritual journey. And the idea, exactly as you sort of say, yeah, do I want to be in the fifth dimensional in this golden future right now? Absolutely. But we have to accept that we're at the transitory stage, and what we're doing right now is important for not just ourselves, but for the bigger picture. And if you do it for yourself, do it for the people you love, do it for that positive new fifth dimensional shift, which, when you read Diana Cooper's book, I mean, you will just definitely go and read the book, because we both said before, it just really hit home for us that that's where we want to be. Yeah. So there's a lot going on, a lot happening, and definitely allow all of the world chaos, the world drama, let that all go. And as you say, other things in your life, if they're falling away, to accept that that's a necessary part of what's going on right now. Because it's interesting, because I know quite a few people who seem to be going through divorces right now, and quite surprising. So but there's obviously there's a reason behind that. And as much as it's very hard to accept, it is part something that we need to accept, that we need to let go of certain things to move on.
Yeah, and you made a good point, Janet. It's not about shining your light and living in the golden future, holding that vision 100% of the time. It's more about recognizing when we are sort of sinking down, not feeling so well, and then sort of bringing ourselves gently back to a more nurturing, loving care, and allowing then stepping back into the light or shining the light. It's we are human, and I think this transitional phase is all about readjusting, coming back to relearning, and yeah, playing with it. I think, yeah, take it easy, play with it, explore how it feels, what helps you. One day it might be sitting in the sun, another day it might be reading a book. Just explore things, what makes you feel good, how you feel you're shining your light. And yeah, petting a cat or smiling at your neighbor, it's anything is possible. So yeah, be extra gentle. Don't talk down on yourself. Don't be too harsh. I mean, I know I've been sort of batting on myself all the time for not being good enough, for not doing that right. And yeah, we are all sort of perfectionists at heart. So we sometimes, I mean, I felt, okay, now I'm in the flow. Now I'm lighting. So, okay, this is it. I got it. And then why am I not in the flow again? Sort of, what happened? What did I do wrong? But just allowing that ebb and flow, and remembering, okay, I am the light. How can I be more light? And taking those 5-10 minutes just to reconnect, and giving yourself the time, and be extra gentle, like a toddler when they start to learn to walk. They topple over, they get themselves back up and take another couple of steps, and then they topple over again. So I think that's sort of how it feels to be the light, and move towards the golden future, and preparing for that time.
Exactly, exactly. I think that's beautiful, Caroline. I think today's conversation on this has been, it's also, every time we talk, it's a good reminder. It reminds me, and that's important too. It's not like we've all got it. So some people like go, oh yeah, yeah, I know it. No, we don't. We're learning and relearning and remembering, and there's a lot of things going on. As human beings, we're very complicated. So yeah, absolutely, be gentle, be understanding, be compassionate with yourself as you work on this. I mean, that's a good reminder for me too. Yeah, because it's not easy, as you say. It's not like flicking a switch and then that's it, I'm in divine mode. um it is that sort of mood, that constant having to work. But it gets easier as you work, through it. It does get easier. I mean, when I look back 5 years ago, where I am today is much, like, such a change. And it's even been interesting because I even had a conversation with my dad this morning on normally it's my mum I speak to every morning, but it was my dad that answered this morning. And he said to me, oh, you look lovely and radiant this morning. And I thought, I know why. And it wasn't because I had my hair and makeup done, I can tell you. But I think it really is that energy, that light, when you're in that place, it does start to radiate through, and you're maybe not even aware anymore that you're doing it, but other people see it and feel it. And I don't know about you, Caroline, but you're just out and people stop and talk to you. And I mean, okay, with the dog it's a little bit easier, but even if I don't sometimes have the dog, people will stop, and it's almost like they tell the life story, or there's just something about you draws, that they feel comfortable with, that they feel safe to have a conversation about certain things. Like, I met a man on the beach last week when I took Bailey out for a walk, and he had his little dog, and the two of them sort of went to say hello, and ended up having a chat with him. And he walked away and he says, "Do you know what? I've never told anybody half the things that we've just talked about." And he says, "But I felt very comfortable talking to you." And you know what? That just made my heart sing,
Mm.
because I just thought, I've met this man, don't know who he is, nothing about him, but he felt comfortable to share some things that he hasn't been able to share with other people. And like, that's where then I feel, as a light worker, that's what I feel I'm here to do. And somehow that connection of us just randomly meeting on the beach, that maybe somehow will have changed his life in a positive way, that will then, have that ripple effect. So we don't know, you just do the work on you, and you don't always know how it will impact other people's lives in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was just really interesting. Really interesting.
It is. It is. It's all about feeling good and then sharing that goodness, and people, feel it, and then they feel good, and they go home and their family feels good, and it's it's amazing. And I think that's the sometimes hard part of our light worker work, because we sort of change the world constantly, but we're not always aware.
Yeah.
And sometimes we feel like, "Oh, I haven't done anything." We forget that we passed 100 people during that day and everybody smiled. So, yeah, we do the work for the world and for humanity. And yeah, don't despair. Just keep going and come back to your heart and soul and reconnect with that.
And by all means, reach out and talk. If this really does resonate with you, and you're feeling that you're being called to step up as a light worker yourself, or you're interested in knowing more, please reach out to us, because we know what it was like when we were starting our journey so many years ago. And I know for me, I didn't know anyone that was in this sort of field at all, until Switzerland. And there, this world opened up to me with gorgeous people like Caroline. And I was so fortunate. And everyone has been able to sort of, it's like, help me along to learn and to grow and to develop. And, you know, doing this with Caroline every week, it's a highlight of my week. And it just brings me so much joy. And it is about sort of that connecting with like-minded hearts and souls. We
Mm.
say like-minded, but it's actually hearts and souls connect.
Mm.
And the more of us that come together and we support each other, because it's not always easy. It's not always an easy, and sometimes you, as you say, you doubt yourself. You start to have these sort of, am I good enough? Am I? And sometimes you just need to have somebody else go, no, you're doing a great job. Like, you really are, but you sometimes can't see it yourself, and you need that sort of somebody else to reflect it back to you. Which I love, because Caroline and I do that hopefully for each other, because I know Caroline does it for me. And I think that's really important. If this really does call to you, please get in touch with us. We're very happy to have a chat.
Mhm. Definitely. We are all here to support each other, bring each other home to the golden future.
Exactly.
And yeah, yeah, we all can help each other. And I love to reflect back to you all. You are amazing. You're a shining light. Your heart and soul is inspiring. And thank you so much for being here with us today. And see you again in a week's time. Thank you.
Love and light blessings, everyone.